the recording as well.
Go and do it, bro.
Let me find the link.
Get on.
We're on. Hey guys, welcome to Stop Holding Back Unfiltered. Facebook Live number 2.
It's not number 2, bro. It's number 4, I think.
This for the Facebook stream. This is the second one, right?
Okay. Give me a second while I
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna try to do this.
And we have one person who is watching us. Let me share this link.
Fantastic. Gone.
As much as possible, and then we can formally get started.
All right. So while you do that, I'll just chat some stuff. So yesterday we went live on Facebook and a few other platforms, and we had 4 of us on there just chatting about life in quarantine. All 4 of us are people who stutter, but we weren't really spending the vast amount of time talking about that. We're talking about our experiences working from home, stuck in the house, and we weren't really kind of doing much. So we thought, let's start the podcast because we've been talking about it for some time now. Our actual plan was to book in time with a studio, very high tech, and things kind of backfired when this virus kicked off. And so instead, we have resorted to doing Zoom podcasts from our houses. If I had the choice, I would much rather do this in person because it's a lot more fun and a lot more interactive. But for the time being, we are doing it on Zoom, doing it every day because we have nothing better to do as well. This stuck down, isn't it? It's quarantine FC, a lockdown city. Hopefully we'll get the others on very shortly. But for the time being, I'm talking to Ayo and he's not talking back to me.
Because I'm trying to share the link.
Because he's sharing the stuff. Few platforms. We had quite a bit of engagement yesterday from people asking questions. The feed went out to around 700 people. It's pretty good, and it's a pretty cool way to pass the time while this virus clears itself up. Yo, just a quick one, Ayo. Did you see that thing on the news today where they were asking for volunteers?
What for?
No, because they were opening up the NHS. I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but they were saying that they need people to help and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Come in. Let's do it. Yo, Chris.
Chris is here.
What's up, Chris?
How are you?
I'm good. How's the virus going? You feeling better?
Fine, don't worry.
Huh?
Perfectly fine.
That's good.
Perfectly fine, but I can't believe that another 87 people today, man. 86, 87 people
87 people passed away today. Yeah. I saw
many?
the announcement about 10 minutes ago. 87.
Oh my God.
So in the UK, we're now up to over 400.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's scary, man.
Yeah, it's thing is, like, do you know any kind of people directly affected by it? Like any one of your friends, family, or any of your friends or family who have friends or family?
Yeah. My mum's friend's cousin died from it.
What's the vibe like at the moment then? Because as in, like, you see different things, right? Because you see people taking the piss basically, and then people in hospital are like kind of you see the two extremes. But are people actually doing stuff? Oh, I got a request to be in my live video. I'm gonna hear this. Yeah, gone.
Are you going live on Instagram now?
Yeah. But I'm pointing the camera at you, bro.
Oh, mate.
Oh,
I don't know if people are taking the piss. I just think that they're trying to...
What's going on?
Not bad, Jonathan. What are you saying? You're right.
You alright?
Yeah. I don't think my friends they can see you actually on camera. It's just through my phone. Yeah, boys. I've got a friend who's also on with us as well. That's his face.
Oh, cool. Nice to meet you, mate.
Yeah.
Shout out to John.
I put Instagram live up.
I can see him then. That's all right.
Yeah, but it's a little bit delayed.
Alright, we can chuck him out. John, I'm so
And the
sorry,
sound's
mate.
no good.
It's
And the
all
sound's
good.
no good.
It's
Well, am I
fine.
getting checked out?
Just in it. Sorry, man. Maybe next time, bro. Remove J Hayes over 5. Oh, error. Yeah, Chris, gone. What were you saying?
That I don't think people are taking the piss. I just think that because everyone's on lockdown,
Yeah.
just trying to make light heart of it and just trying to do something to help them to get through having to be at home all the time. But yeah, until you actually know someone that has been directly affected by it that badly, then you're not really gonna understand how much this is impacting people, I suppose.
The thing is, right, you say that, yeah, but so just around the corner, I've got a Sainsbury's local, and I pop in there pretty much every other day, and every time I go, I see the same jokers just hanging around the train station and doing F4, and they just stand there, and all they're doing is just pissing people off and just kind of asking for stuff.
They have nowhere
Just
to go.
man.
They have no home to go to, probably. You know what I mean?
Just go somewhere. Just what's this thing they're saying in the news about, say, 6 meters away? Some guy's coming up to me and he's just talking. I just said, just step away, and I mean, just give him some space. Go away.
I think it's 2 meters away. That's the standard, right? That's what we should be
Distance
adhering to. Yeah. What's the topic for today then? What's the topic for today? What's the topic for today? What's the burning issue?
We need Sandra here because he's the guy who has all of the topics.
Yeah.
Without him, we just chat about shit, really, isn't it?
So how's your speech been for the past week, Chris?
Go on, Chris.
Now you're stuck at home. How's it been?
Yeah, it hasn't been great. It hasn't been great at all. I can feel like it is getting harder. Tension is creeping back in. And I feel like now would be a difficult time for a lot of people to, if they are struggling with their speech and they've been working on it in the past, I feel like this is a difficult time for people to accept that they might have to go back to basics. I think that we've had really good speech. It's quite demoralizing to have to go all the way back to basics, whichever your basics may be. But I do think that what can prevent people from making progress again if they begin to fall back a bit during this time is not accepting that they may need to go back to basics.
Yeah. It's that what's that word for it? Kind of, you think you're a bit complacent and stuff, but I things aren't getting better?
Yeah, I guess it's because we're not having enough talk time with people in general, right? So, do you agree with that, Chris?
Yeah, we're not getting enough talk time, but then when we are getting enough talk time, we're not implementing what we know we should be implementing to get our speech back to a level that it was, because we might think we've had such great speech that we've gone past the point of having to like this to get a bit of momentum again.
But that itself is the problem, isn't it? Because if that's the way you think, then you will always be kind of slipping backwards, I think.
Yeah.
I seem to think you're a bit too big for your boots. And that's when you're in trouble, right?
Yeah, I was having... Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, because the other thing now is like... So the other day when we were talking about this, and he said, yeah, because you're stuck at home and they had a few of the symptom stuff. But in terms of communication, you are still really talking to the same people face to face all the time. And you kind of do slip into some kind of a super comfort zone in that sense, because you aren't really being pushed to face up to new people and stuff. And but that can have an effect as well, isn't it? Because if a person to like stay on top of their speech, they have to constantly be pushing themselves forward. And if that's the way they can stay on top, then that's a big problem for them as well, right?
Yeah, I was having this conversation with someone today who we help and who is currently working on their speech. And what happens is they know what they should be doing, they know what they should be implementing, but they just feel like they've already been through it. So the thought of having to go through all those steps again just seems pretty long to them. And they might have the sense that they're above that. Like you just said, they feel they're a bit too big for their boots, but when it comes to speech, no one's too big for their boots, because everybody can be vulnerable at any stage. No matter how advanced you are with your speech, we can always slip back. And people need to know that whatever they were working on in the early days got them to that point. So in order to get back to that point, it makes sense that we have to strip it right back and go through those incremental steps again, which can be demoralizing, but we have to get over it and get over ourselves and just put in the work.
And that's a big part of the coaching process that I guess participants have to realize, because it isn't always going to be upward progress. Similar to a footballer, for example, if you pull your hamstring or something, or twist an ankle, then straight away you will be out of action for a few weeks or a few months in worst cases. And then when to the standard that you were before, and then even when you get your fitness, it takes a bit more time just to get that sharpness and stuff. And it's vital that people understand that hard work, yeah, it's important, but it's even harder to actually to consolidate the progress that you made and stay there and keep going upwards, and isn't always going to be an upward trend. Hey, are you with us?
Yeah. I'm listening to you guys. It's good stuff.
how's the ponytail doing today?
Yes,
Where's it going?
Yeah, it's all right, mate. Still going.
No, I saw your screen. I thought you chopped it off and stuck it on the
No, man.
side. What's that thing on
What on the wall? That's a chain.
Yeah, what's that?
A pendant of Africa. That's what it is.
Ah, sick. I was going to ask you guys, right? Stop Holding Back, charity, cutting edge, brand new, etc., etc., etc. So how many months now has it been since kind of the idea came about and went into planning and then now turned into an actual charity? And how do you guys feel about it at the moment? You get that?
Yeah, I got that. So Stop Holding Back became a charity in April last year. So we're still working quite hard to get things off the ground. We are helping people right now through our channels, one being a Slack group. And we do have people we coach on the phone and face-to-face. So it's still a journey, it's still fun, but right now we are in a growth period where we're trying to get as much investment into the charity and expertise to help us really go to the next level.
What kind of challenges have you had, I guess, this year and then now with the virus? As in, have there been any kind of like big impactful challenges that have made you really think, crap, like how can we do this now, or how can we improve this? And same time, have there been any opportunities that have come about through these big obstacles? Chris?
Well, a lot has obviously changed, as I mentioned yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, that the social meetups were proving to be quite a big success, and a lot of people were beginning to show up, and a lot of people were beginning to enjoy them and interact, and that obviously has come to an end for the time being. A lot of the coaching has to go online now rather than face to face. A lot of people might prefer the face to face, but just the way that things are now, it has to go online and over Zoom, which is proving just as effective, but also more of a challenge when you're trying to push.
Sorry, Chris. Chris,
can you hear me?
I can hear something in the background. Can someone put their video sound on, please? Ayo? I think there's something in the background playing. There's some background talking.
Mike is already muted.
Cool. Chris?
Hello? Yeah, okay, cool.
Something's playing in the background.
What? Mine?
One of you two. Then
Can't be.
It's your phone, Chris. Or Ruben's phone. If the stream is on, it's playing in the background.
Mine's up, bro.
Is it on now?
Nah, it's gone. All right, cool. Sorry.
Yeah, so where was I?
Gone.
It's challenged over the last year and a bit. The whole setting up a charity has been a challenge. Also, to enter something new into the Stuttering community was always going to be a challenge. There's a lot of people that are a bit weary of what we try to teach. A lot of people are worried, like, will it work? Does it not work? Is it just another this? Is it another that program? So it's been a challenge, but the main positive for us is that anyone that has come into the Stop Holding Back charity has got benefit out of it and are beginning to improve their lives, which is the main aim.
Yeah.
That's really good. What's
Just
been
to
the
add to
biggest...
that,
Go on, sorry.
so the main aim of the charity is not to help people cure their stammers or stutters. The main aim is to, like Chris said, to improve their lives. And hopefully that comes with an improvement in their speech.
What's been the biggest success so far with regards to the coaching side? So specifically thinking about coaching, is there any particular person or people who have had kind of like successes that you kind of thought, oh, like this is why we started this, and this has proven that the decision has been correct?
I don't want to mention any names because people might not want me to, but there has been
like something that happened.
Yeah. So someone who's tried other programs. He's tried programs in England. He tried one in Canada as well. He's tried a few programs, tried them for a number of years. He always managed to get a boost after every program that he went on, but he found that it wasn't giving him the lasting effect that he wanted it to give him. And it got to the point where he was at work and he wasn't really talking to his colleagues. Talking to the boss of the company was his biggest fear. That was what he struggled with the most. And since then, he's worked with us for maybe a month and a half now. And he's really beginning to take on more roles and responsibilities at work. He's like chairing meetings. He's trying to talk to clients now, whereas before he would never try to talk to clients. So that is the reason why we do this, so that people's lives at work can become easier and they can get on with doing a good job without having to panic about their stutter constantly at work. So that is the one that comes to mind.
That's a great win, Chris, because we pretty much spend the majority of our day at work, if you discount the time we sleep. So having the ability to be comfortable at work and be proactively tackling what you need to do without worrying about your speech like a scared kitty cat in the corner is a massive win. And I think everyone who has stuttered in the past or experiences it now can vouch for the fact that they have experienced those kind of times at work. And it's vital that you turn these key environments into your comfort zones and your arenas for practicing your speech, working the speech, and working to become a better speaker.
Yeah, and it's important to just point out.
I hear dog barking.
So it's important to point out that this individual I'm talking about hasn't gone from stuttering out of control at work to being completely fluent, and now he's the most amazing speaker ever. That's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is that you have someone who now, regardless of if they feel like they're having a great speech day as opposed to not having a great speech day, they're still going to say and talk in every situation that they have to at work. And that is the main aim. It's not about taking someone to a journey to fluency, because that's just putting too much pressure on the individual, and it's not managing their expectation at all, because that's not realistic. There are going to be bumps in the road, but the main thing is if we can change their mindset to the point that regardless of what my stutter is like today, I'm still speaking in every situation, then no matter what happens, they can always work on it and they can always make progress. So that's the stage where the individual didn't care what kind of state their speech was in on a day-to-day basis. They were getting on with it, whatever they had to get on with at work, regardless. So that was and is a real success.
That actually gives me an idea for a question for either of you to answer. Do you think that first part that may be more important than actually improving your speech to a point where you can confidently tackle those situations at work, but at the same time having that slight fear in the background that things may go backwards at some point? And B, can that be achieved without actually joining any course or program or technique-driven initiative?
Well, yeah, well, I think it all depends on how bad your stutter is. That's just the truth of the situation. If you're covert and your stutter is not bad, yeah, maybe if you learn some techniques or you went left and built just your confidence and self-esteem, that can be enough for you.
What's so covert? Sorry.
So
just,
a covert.
We don't know that term.
So a covert stutterer is someone who can swap words while they're speaking, so they can hide their stammering or stuttering. They are people who can hide their stuttering, whereas someone who's an overt, they cannot hide their stuttering or stammering. So if you are someone who cannot hide their stutter, an overt, you, in my opinion, from my experience, from what I've seen in real life, that you have to learn some technique or you will struggle to get on in your day-to-day life. But again, it depends on how bad. If you can't say a single word, you literally like on every single word, you have to come to terms with learning a way of speaking just for yourself, so you can have a better quality of life. But if you're a covert, you can decide to learn a technique or not. You have the option if you're a covert.
Anything to add, Chris?
To add to that, I would add that sometimes it's not about how bad your stutter is, and I think what Ayo was trying to get at there was, or correct me if I'm wrong, it's not how bad or overt or covert your stutter is how much is your stuttering affecting you as an individual? How much does it prevent you from taking action? How much does it prevent you from doing things that you really truly wish you could do? I think it also depends on what type of personality you have. Are you a self-starter? Are you a self-motivator? And with me at the time when my speech was at the worst, I knew that I wasn't going to get to where I wanted to get to on my own. I knew that I wouldn't take action. It's very difficult for someone who's in this hole that they feel like they're never going to be able to get out of to pick up the phone and start calling 100 hotels. And if ST is their feared sound, call every hotel in Stratford and ask them how far they are from Stratford Station. If you're on your own, it's very difficult to just implement that. And that's why I feel like if you're not a self-motivator, if you're not a self-starter, then it's almost essential that you have to get involved with some type of program. And it might not necessarily be the program that helps you, but it's the individuals that you meet on that program that can help to motivate you, that can push you, that have actually been where you are and have managed to get through it.
We have a comment in the Facebook feed. That's from Nabia. She said she had really good speech last week, but now she's had a relapse and she's asking, what can she do about her relapse? How to come out of it? You got any answers for that, Chris? Ruben?
Yeah, I'm going to answer for that. Can you hear me? Yeah. So, relapse. I personally think if you are constantly working on your speech, then to some extent you are going to be in constant relapse, if that makes sense. You aren't ever going to be 100% because if you're actively working the speech and kind of pushing yourself, you will be constantly challenged. And if you are constantly challenged, then you will be constantly experiencing micro failures. Now, if this question is in regards to kind of having difficulties in situations where you are normally stronger, it could just be a case of you having to think about the different factors that have kind of affected you in that day, that moment in particular. Think about who you are speaking to, what the situation is, and really break down the variables around it, because in the end you have kind of been able to tackle that situation comfortably in the past. So it isn't necessarily a speaking issue, but there could be other and external factors that have thrown kind of a spanner in the works for that particular moment. From a personal perspective, because I'm kind of always trying to push myself, I will always be experiencing blocks and freezes to some extent, and then working out kind of how to tackle them as they come. And then at the end, I will think back and kind of examine what happened in that situation. So I've stopped thinking about it in the sense of relapse, but thinking about it in the sense that it gives me opportunities to work on myself and keep improving. So try to use those experiences as tools to push you forward, as opposed to relapses that make you feel down. Chris?
Yeah, I agree. And from her message, I'm guessing she wants like a tactical tool that can help her right now. So for me, what I use if I feel like I'm struggling, which I don't use all the time because sometimes I just forget. And what's more important is me trying to communicate and get the message across. But if you're in a space where you can calm down and relax and actually think about what you're trying to say and you have time for that, I would just stop what you're doing in the moment and just take a massive slow breath in and release, and do that to calm down just your nervous system, because you're triggered by the situation, by the person, by the thing, whatever, you're triggered. And your nervous system needs to get a sense of relaxation. So the best answer for that is to breathe in and out until you feel like you can use a technique or not a technique just to get the sentence or phrase out. That's what I try to use as often as possible, but I'm not perfect, and sometimes I stutter. So yeah, and it's fine. But like Chris said, it's up to you. It's down to you and how you feel about your stuttering. So if you know it affects you in a really, really bad way, then you have to decide on what to do about it.
One thing just to add to that is something I pretty much do kind of every time I experience a tough and things way, as in things aren't kind of coming out the way I intended it to, and I'm blocking and freezing quite a bit. I just stop and just tell the person, just give me a moment. I have a speech impediment, so I'm just gonna, every time the person or people I'm speaking to are like, oh, it's fine, just do what you have to do. And then that buys me time and calms down to actually incorporate the breathing strategy that Ayo just explained now, and other techniques that I have used in the past. That's me.
That's a great answer. If you have any more questions, guys, if you have any more questions, leave them in the Facebook stream feed comment section.
So I'm just taking a look. I can see a comment from our boy Leo in Finland saying many people are having a hard time at the moment, including me. And by me, he means him. It is a hard time, and I'll tell you why. Everyone can actually see what's happening right now in the news. So this isn't a normal time in the world. Where this has happened previously, there has actually been like a war in the world which affects every country. And for people who are from countries where there has been conflict, they will be better actually deal with the news that they are being surrounded with every day, coupled with phones, computers, and constant information sharing. It's sometimes hard to actually see what's real and what's false. For people who do stutter, this obviously is not ideal because it's so strongly intertwined with our emotional system. If we don't have balance emotionally, then this does have a direct impact on our speech. But this is why it's important contact with the community, with your core people, with your tribe. This is a massive reason why we actually started this a daily podcast during this time. Plus, we don't have anything to do, seeing as we can't step outside. But this does help me a lot because this is my way to release and share stuff, talk about stuff I've read today, answer any questions for people, and really share quite a lot of information that between ourselves we have accumulated over the last 3 years of investigation, hard work, and our journeys. So please interact with us, ask us questions, and don't be shy to put your hand. And if at some point, if you want to go that one step further, ask us for the link and we will hook you up on an upcoming episode of SHB Unfiltered.
Well, I want to add something to that as well. So if you're struggling right now, like most people are in the world, I think the best thing you can do is reach out to your friends, reach out to your support network, and join stuff like this, a podcast, and stream it live to Facebook and have fun with it. I think that will do a lot for your mental health, and it's going to show to people they can do the same. So we hope to inspire other people to do what we are doing, so we can actually build a larger community, and actually, as people who start, talk to each other more. So that's essential.
All right, lads, I've got a question. How did you guys spend allowance today? And by allowance, I mean your single trip to buy essential items, your 1 day recommended trip to do outdoor exercise. I think that's it, right? We can't do anything else. But yeah, how
Chris?
do you manage to maximize that? A man like Boris.
Today I took Coco for a walk. Coco's my dog, who is a Labradoodle. She's 8 years old. I took her for a walk today about 10:30 in the morning. Yeah, that was my one outdoor activity today. I wish I could do more, but I also completed a home workout today as well. Charlie had this online HIIT workout that was like a 15-minute thing, and we done that together, which was pretty hard, to be honest. So yeah, that's how I kept myself a little bit active today. Spoke to a couple of people over the phone as well, but just to push myself to work on my speech a little bit. And that was about it. And then I had some work to be getting on with. So that's how I spent the majority of the day today. And now I'm on a podcast with you guys.
Hey, Adesanya.
I just opened my door, walked about half a meter, and stood in the sun for 5 minutes, and then turned around, went back in. That's my yeah. That's about it, mate.
I'm not surprised, man, because with KFC clothes and with McD's clothes, you gotta know where to go.
But I do plan on.
Chris. Imagine him going up to like some lady on the street in this self-isolation period.
I am.
Do you know what KFC is?
I'll try and do 100 contacts now and see how that goes down.
You'd have no chance. You'd be under it.
Hey,
we got a couple of questions that's coming on the Facebook feed.
Go on.
Do some of you use technique to stammer on purpose? What do you think of it? Chris, want to answer that, mate?
Yeah, I can answer that. I use it pretty much all the time. I use it every day. I think it's the most important technique to use when you're desensitizing yourself to people's reactions of your stutter. And I feel like it's very difficult to make any type of progress if you do not get used to using it in all speaking situations. I think that the time that I was able to really change it up was when I got comfortable with using it. We call it advertised mentality at SHB, where we show the listener that we're working on our speech. And this is one of the most important things to adopt when you're working on your speech, especially in the early stages where you're trying to shift your mentality to caring about what everyone thinks of you all the time and how you look in every situation, to really not caring, to really being able to let go, to be able to practice whatever you're trying to practice. So yeah, I use it often. I use it all the time. And there's periods where my speech gets worse than others, where I have to put it on a lot more than what I would usually do. But I'm more than happy to do it. And regardless of how much I have to do it, I'm prepared to implement it.
For me, similar to Chris, I incorporate stuttering on purpose quite a lot. The key moments would be if I was presenting in front of a group of people. So I'm required to do that pretty frequently in my line of work, and I'm heavily involved in kind of the public speaking scene in the London area. So these things really do help me, especially with new people, new environments and crowds. With regards to people around me, so my close people, friends, I do it sometimes, but it isn't something that I would automatically go for, because to be honest, like, they all know what I do. They've all seen kind of all my videos I post. I even bump into friends from school, and even I bumped into friends from primary school as well, who I hadn't seen in about 15 years, and even they had seen kind of some of the things that I was doing through my social media platforms, and they were approaching me and asking me questions. So I've been pretty transparent with stuttering in the past couple of years, to the point where other people are now kind of taking that first step. Interesting for me, because I feel that I am very transparent with people. It allows me to work on kind of more advanced things in terms of engaging people and like really connecting with different people. And yeah, stuttering on purpose does work. But the main thing is have the mentality that you want to show them that you do. Where it falls down for people is when they want to stutter on purpose to sound fluent, and that's what screws people up. And that's what I've seen many times from people in programs. They try to incorporate stutter on purpose techniques to sound fluent, to a point where they're scared to just like dip the toe in and do it. They're scared. I keep telling them, dude, like, or do that, or whoever you are, just sometimes just forget about technique and think, do you want that person to hear you stutter out of control? And if that's a no, then that's your first problem. Because as soon as you can turn that into a yes, that's when you can take your speech to the next level.
Ruben, I've got a question for you on the point that you just made. Do you think a possible reason why people may feel like that is because their expectations are not managed prior to going into the program? Because a lot of people's attitudes when they go into a program is, I've come here to get rid of my stutter, and you're asking me to stutter on purpose. You want me to stutter to everyone, and I've come here to completely get rid of it. Is it explained clearly enough before the program? This is what will be required of you when you come onto this program, and this is how you are going to make progress.
Short answer is I would probably say no, but then I'm going to ask Ayo this question. If he knew full well that he would have to stutter on purpose and sound maybe worse than he actually does, would he have stayed on a program or programs long enough to actually understand the benefits and take different parts of it, and then come to this point now? You get it? As in, like it's to be honest, like. Like I would rather be ignorant so I can actually finish the course, and then at the end of it, like start to unpack it. Because if I got too much like information of how to actually be at the start, what's the chances of me sticking around and actually putting the work in it and paying for it?
Well, it comes down to this. It's very simple, right? So, hear this. You need to sell on what people want, not on what people need. Even though what they need is what they need, it's good for them. But people will only will take the first step on what they want, on what they think they want, not what they need. So a program has to sell the results. You can't sell the middle stuff or the beginning, because no one would buy, or no one would even think to give it a chance, including myself. If I had gone to a program which told me on day one, I have to sound like this. Hell no, get the hell out of it. I'm not going to join that program. Hell no. So that's so you I'll be honest. So you can't sell that. You have to sell what people want, and then once they're in the funnel, then you tell them the truth. But of course, you can't stretch the truth too much. You can't. You have to be ethical about what you're selling as well. So there's a great area here, because for me, I would not have signed up to the program I signed up to help me at the first stage of my speech. If I knew the contents of that program, I would not have signed up, and I would not be the person I am today. So,
well, even if you knew the end result, even if you're speaking to everyone there, they're speaking great, they're all saying they got stutters, they're all able to speak the way that you wish you could. Even if they explain, listen, the way that I got here was by implementing this, and I had to start on purpose, and I had to use this technique and this breathing technique and that, you'd still say, no, forget it. I don't want to know.
The thing is, that never happened. So that never happened, didn't it? That never happened. And the people who at the top still sounded like robots at that point, because when we're in the room, they sounded like that. And when they were trying to be fluent, you could always tell they're not fluent. They use technique. So it's not, at that point in time when I first signed up, I signed up to become fluent. I didn't sign up to stutter on purpose or to stutter less. With the marketing, I saw this was never enough as a cure. It's never enough a cure. And that's what I signed up for. And that's what many people sign up for. No one wants to stutter forever at that stage. No one accepts that. So you can't sell that.
Sorry, lads, I'm just going to shift the attention back to the Facebook feed. Just want to say hi to Arthur Young. Arthur's asking how things are today. Things are the same as yesterday. Healthy in the household, thank God, and running this podcast. Thank you very much. Got Faizan on, man like Faizan. Thank you very much for jumping on, brother. One point I want to mention from Nabila. So regarding stuttering on purpose, exactly what I thought. I think my biggest problem is shame. And when I start feeling that way, shame of stuttering, my speech will get better. I think it's my last puzzle. But the problem is that I know how to stutter on purpose at home, but I can't get it out in reality. How do you do that? To break through and start stammering on purpose. Starting on purpose, on, turn it off, isn't as straightforward as that. Sometimes you need to do it stage by stage, and by stage I mean of your key environment, people that you would be with throughout the day. So whether you are in employment or not, part-time or full-time, make a list. These are the people I'm with and group them. And specifically work on stuttering on purpose within those groups. Now, break it down to even further. Like, tell yourself, all right, I'm gonna say this then, and then start purposely blocking on certain words. To start being very strategic, be methodical. If it doesn't work out, don't worry, then go to the next one. Start thinking to yourself, every 4 words, if that's too hard. One thing I used to do before was stutter on purpose every morning for about 20 minutes, for the first 20 minutes of my conversation at work. And then in the afternoon, lunch, 20 more minutes, and just keep those 2 windows, on purpose windows. And for the rest of the time, drop it in where I felt necessary, where it popped into my mind, because it wasn't automatic. But give yourself 20 minutes, small 20 minutes throughout the day, or minutes even. Just start thinking strategically, break it down. Hey, oh, bless you. And whoa, okay, I think I saw you show about 2 symptoms, maybe 3, of COVID-19.
Nah, man. I'm all right.
But yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Stutter on. We know we're gonna get onto that actually soon, because I came across a very interesting statistic that we should all hear. But anyway, Nabila, that's how you have to do it. Do it stage by stage. Build yourself up. I'm gonna go
Can I add something, Ruben? Can I add something, Ruben, quickly? So
yes. Before we go on to the next question from Leo.
Yeah, quickly. I think what Ruben said before is the most important thing a person who stutters needs to really allow themselves to just say, yes, this is the truth, I have to do it. And that's to stutter on purpose with the intent of not trying to sound fluent. And I am a victim of this. I used to do this a lot, and I am now trying to use it in the correct way, and that's not to hide my stutter and to sound fluent, because like Ruben said, if you do that, you are on the fast track to misery. It's not going to work.
Christopher Jackson, what do you have for us?
I just want to add that when it comes to stuttering on purpose, people want to go from 0 to 100 real quick to the fact that they're comfortable to do it all the time. And when they're not comfortable to do it all the time, they get disheartened and they stop believing in it and they no longer want to implement it. But just getting small wins with it, small casual wins with it, really helps to build up your confidence to use it more and more and more. But if you try to go out and do too much too soon, then chances are you will crash and you won't want to do it. So like you were saying, Ruben, implement it incrementally, a few moments of the day, and build yourself up to it. My journey was a little bit different because I learned how to do it in my everyday life at work. AO coached me at work, so I was straight in the deep end, and I was using it in the situation where people struggle to use it in the most. That was where I learned how to use it. So I'd done it in the reverse, where people usually start in their comfort zone and then try to implement it in a more challenging situation.
Thank you, Chris. I'm gonna switch back again to the feed. Got a question from Leo. I'm gonna try and say his surname because it's Latin Maki. I hope that was correct. So Leo from Finland. How did you guys feel after your first course? Do you think something has to stick from you from your first course? So we've got been through different therapy programs, different speech courses that are available in the UK and different parts of the world. Generally, from your first speech therapy course, I've been on a few of these, different types, and everything that courses is kind of fresh as soon as you leave, to actually apply these and make a change and make a transformation in your life and the way you speak. Problem is, if you want staying on top of things, it's really hard because you start to slowly kind of slip back to how. One of the courses I was on, so this was one that stretched across about 4 or 5 months. I used to see the therapists every week. A set program driven from Australia, and one of the router was a regular contact. It was over a long period, kind of report back over. They could really get an idea of how things work. I could come back and say, this worked, this didn't work, and really break it down. One of the other courses that I was on was a 3.5, 4-day type course. And that was kind of the opposite, because intensive within a short period of time, you leave, and because you don't have a chance to go back immediately, you start to kind of bit by bit slip back into old. It's impossible to be applying exercises that you've been drilling all day, every day, and then come back and go to work and go to your normal routine. So back to Leo's question, if there's something that I have taken from both courses, it's vital to incorporate everything that you learn into your usual routine. Don't do it the other way around. You can't build your working life pattern around your speech practice, around every other part of your life. If you can do that, then you can actually turn it into a long-term solution, a long-term way of working on your speech, because it isn't a short-term for 6 months and then you won't be stuttering and be stutter-free for years and years and years. You have to be incorporating it bit by bit, every day, every week, just for the coming years, because it's like fitness. You need to stay on top of it bit by bit, and then you healthy and stay sharp. Take that same approach. I hope that answers your question, Leo. Leo said the way I pronounced his surname was close, but not correct. I can see AO's turned into a banner. Chris, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I just think AO had to pop out.
All right.
Away for a second.
It's fine. This is my statistic. So in Iceland, to test everyone for coronavirus, and of everyone that had tested positive, 50% of people who tested positive were asymptomatic.
Wow.
Did not show any symptoms.
That's mad.
Yeah, and I found out today. The reason why I thought I'd share is because the wedding was 3 weeks ago, and I must have shaken every person's hand there.
Yeah, there could have been a lot of people there with it that weren't showing any symptoms.
But just to reassure everyone, I've been in self-isolation, social distancing for almost 2 weeks now, so I've been a good boy.
To be honest, you're quite lucky that your wedding was when it was, and it's not a couple of weeks this week. So there's a good chance it wouldn't be going ahead.
Yeah, there's cancellations everywhere now. Like as in our backup date was the 28th of March, which would have been this weekend.
Yeah.
Quarantine hit a lockdown city.
Wouldn't have been happening.
And the speech would have been the last thing on my list of worries. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, talk to me about your wedding and how did that stress you out, the lead up to that?
Yeah,
knowing that you were going to be the center of attention and the fact that you were going to have to do that speech.
Yeah, to be honest, like I was fine with kind of the majority of it, with the center of attention. But I think back in the past, I would rather be on the peripherals and just kind of be attending and just kind of enjoying someone else's moment. But I kind of enjoyed it because of like the gradual build up and stuff. To be honest, the majority of the stresses were more organizations around it, dealing with different vendors and changes on the day. And the boys were a massive help. Seriously, on the day, people kind of in charge of the bar, they said they were not providing like any cups of ice.
What?
So yeah, as in like so the two lads who did the speech, in the gap that they went to Sainsbury's, they bought 1,000 cups and like 30 kilos of ice, and they were running around doing stuff, and everyone was like, and they kind of all came together in the end. Yeah, it was just good, right?
Wait, 1 minute. They were prepared to provide the bar, but they wasn't prepared to provide the glasses for people to drink from at the bar.
Yeah. So they provide the bar facility. So it's just the structure and the staff, but it was up to us to provide the actual booze, which I picked up a few weeks before.
Okay.
We had to provide the soft drinks as well. So I had to get that, and I had to get the boys to actually bring it on the day, because we weren't allowed to bring the stuff the day before. So I got 3 of them to put it in their cars, like in the day before. They came out of mine. Then they all brought unloaded it, and they found out on the day that they didn't have glasses even or ice. Now, we were aware about the ice, by the way, but we weren't aware about the glasses. So they went to like a big Sainsbury's and they said, look, how many ice and cups do you have? And that's it. So if they didn't get that, then man would have just been skying it from the bottle.
And that was in between working on your choreography as well, which I was really impressed by, Ruben. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, mate, got moves.
Got moves.
No, but thank you very much for coming. Chris and Aya were at the wedding, seeing kind of a big day for me, my wife, and family, and I hope they had a good time.
Yeah, it was one of the most amazing weddings I've ever been to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was amazing. Do you know what I couldn't believe? How quickly they were able to transform that whole room.
It's mad, isn't it? Mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had 3 hours, right, to turn it around.
Yeah, but they had to put everything in there. They had to take the stage and everything that was in there before for the morning ceremony. Yeah. Then they put up that big screen, the DJ booth, the dance floor, the top table, everything. I was like, how have they managed to do this?
The thing is, like, they were already pre-assembling stuff during the morning.
No, right, okay.
Different parts, right? So they just had to drag out certain things. I think the long bit is more kind of like cleaning up the place. But that's what we had, like, kind of set, because with that venue, right? It's actually kind of a big venue in South London where you get people doing weddings with 800 people in there. So normally they use the entire bit just for the ceremony, but because ours was like a lot less, we divided like bit to food and the bit with the ceremony. And because they were split, it allowed like the decorators to actually kind of like have things prepped in like the food bit where kind of is in background. They didn't have to interfere with like the bit with the ceremony and stuff. So it's pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that was cool. It was cool. Yeah. Now your speech, I mean, you smashed the speech, yeah, smashed it. You've lived the dream that many stutterers dream that they can do. I know that I dream, and I'm working towards it at my wedding. What was your preparation like for that speech? I know that you're like massive into Toastmasters. You get right involved in that. Was all that part of your strategy for being able to execute it so well on the day?
Yeah, kind of, because I do well when I get like a lot of momentum with my speech, so like building up really good experiences, and just a small kind of successes, in a sense that like because if you got a football team, you're going into your like seasonal or big game, you would want to have a few prep games just to like tune yourself up. So I was pretty regular with Toastmasters in the build up to the wedding week or two. And in the week, I wrote the speech on the Monday or Tuesday. I was practicing it during the week, so I would I had it typed up on paper, and it was on the dashboard of my car. So when I'm driving around, I could see it, go through the words, see how it sounded. I practiced in front of a friend as well, to see how it sounded speaking to someone. Like, funny thing was, I actually blocked quite a lot with him and freezing, but that was me like trying to work out like words through the speech. Then I'm massive into visualization, So how to lay out of how the floor would kind of be in the evening. So we had all the plans that we got from the decorators. So I knew like where I was going to stand and where I was going to look, like where the boys would be, where the family would be, etc. Then on the day, I was there earlier before the reception started as well, looking around, ran through the speech, and yeah, like it all clicked in the end, which doesn't always happen, but it did.
No, it clicked, man.
Yeah,
Definitely clicked.
Yeah,
It was really good. It was really good to see you up there, man.
Cool.
To see you up there, just so calm and free. And what was difficult is that your friends had done the speech before you. They ruined you. They ruined you.
It must be up. You know, but the best part was like, because after they finished me, I was thinking, crap. But then
they were killing you from your uni days, from when you were younger. All those pictures they put up on the big screen.
Dude, as in, the good thing was, like, at the end of it, when I spoke to my mum afterwards, I thought she was going to start asking questions about those pictures, but she got really emotional about my speech. She was like, "Oh my God, you sounded amazing. It was a highlight of my day." She completely forgot about the boys' speech. I was like, there you go, innit?
Yeah.
That's how you do it,
but
man.
I have to admit, your speech was good, but your brother's was my favourite of the night, man.
It runs in the family, innit? He's a baller. Yeah, he smashed it. Do you know how long he'd been working on that for?
How long?
A month.
Really?
Yeah, because I asked him, like, in Feb, do you do a speech? And I said, yeah, cool. And then since that point, he was like prepping, practicing, writing it out, looking for pictures and stuff. And he put his heart into it. And that's what I appreciated above anything else. That's the main thing. He's a good lad.
Yeah, no, it was the nicest speech. And for people that are not that close to the entire family, you can really see how much he kind of idolizes you, and how much he looks up to you, and what an influence you've been to him on his life. So, no, it was nice. It was really good.
Thanks, man. And Chris, I hope in the future, when your time comes as well, we will be killing that speech as well, man.
Yeah, I'm nervous already for it, but I'm nervous for it already.
No, but that's the best bit, because if you're nervous, then it doesn't mean as much, doesn't it? And I was feeling the nerves, but it's like fun nerves, right? And above anything else, before I went on, like I said before, I told myself, stutter is fine, because you can stutter. It's okay to stutter. Let them hear you stutter. It's fine. Just keep telling yourself that, because in the end, we aren't trying to hide anything. We aren't trying to hide it. So just go out there and be yourself. And if it does come, it's fine. Because as soon as you don't think it's fine, that's when you get tense.
Yeah.
That's when you get tense. And you got to keep reminding yourself. So for everyone out there, remind yourself. Even if you don't start on purpose, even if you're scared to do it, just keep reminding yourself, it's fine. And if you can start on purpose, do it, because that reinforces your belief that it's fine. And that's it. Christopher Jackson, any last words? Because Ayo's left us, bro.
Is Ayo coming back? Is he planning to come back?
All I can see is branding on the screen.
Ayo, are you there? Is he in the background? Can you hear us?
Mate, this guy's gone, man.
No, he's gone. All right, well, it is what it is. He's gone.
He kind of gone far, right? Because we're in quarantine right now, isn't it? Lockdown city.
That's what I mean. Is there any last questions? Have we missed anything?
To be honest, I think everyone's signed off.
No, because there's still a few people.
Yeah, cool.
But
all right, Chris, I think it's time to call it.
Call it a day.
Yeah, we got one problem.
We can't end the meeting.
Nah. Shall I call AO quickly?
I'll text him.
This is terrible, isn't it? Let me call him as well. See if he picks up. I'll try and put him on speaker. This guy's a mug. Wait. I'll go on the speaker 1 minute. Hey, come back.
Huh?
Come back. We're about to end the podcast. We can't stop recording without you. Press the button, you idiot. All right, cool. Say it. Right. I can't believe that just happened, Chris.
That's all right.
How unprofessional of us.
Listen, we've never been professional when it comes to podcasting.
Ayo.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on SHB Unfiltered, episode 4/live feed 2.
Thank you very much for joining me.
Cool. Thanks for watching on AO. You can end the video as soon as you deliver the last message.
And don't forget, stop holding back.